Hi, I'm Jessie Ahmet, host of Valley News Now, and I'm here today with Amanda Even, and she is from Lakes and Prairies Community Action Partnership. Thank you so much for being with me. And we met the other night at your amazing fundraiser, which was so great. But first, let's just talk about a little about who you are, because you've been around for, what, over 50 years?
Correct.
And people still don't quite know, including myself, had some very basic questions. So tell us a little about who you are.
So CAPLP, or Lakes and Prairies Community Action Partnership, as you know, our long name is.
Yes.
We've been around for, like you said, over 50 years, and we are a community action agency. So community action actually was born out of the civil rights movement.
Oh, wow.
So
okay.
it's part of the war against poverty that Lyndon B. Johnson started way back in his presidency.
Wow, interesting.
Yes.
Okay.
And so there are actually over 1,000 community action agencies, and they serve pretty much all of the United States.
Wow.
And so we primarily serve Clay and Wilkin County with most of our programming.
Okay.
But we actually have programs that serve all of North Dakota and then also about 21 different counties in Minnesota as well.
What a big job.
Yeah. So the breadth and depth of service is pretty large.
Yes.
So we have altogether about 30 different programs and services, and they all work together. And the goal is to eliminate poverty by empowering families and engaging the community. So as you can imagine, it's kind of a big job and a lot to explain.
Yeah, and a lot to explain, yes.
So we do have, it's 4 different divisions, we call them.
Okay.
So the most, I would say, popular one that people have heard of is Head Start.
Yes.
So we do an early Head Start program, which is pregnant moms and, you know, up to about age 3.
That's incredible.
Yes, and that is a home visiting model. So
Wow.
the teacher actually goes into the home of the family.
How great is that?
Yeah, and they work with the parents to help them have their children hit those developmental milestones. And the whole philosophy of Head Start is the parent is the first teacher.
Neat.
So it's really fun to see, you know, maybe a pregnant mom and they have their little baby and we're, you know, helping make sure they have everything they need.
Right.
And then they also are learning how to interact with their baby and how to help them learn and grow throughout kind of their really early years, because we know those are really key.
So key to their development. And you don't know till you know, right?
Exactly.
And if you don't happen to have people in your life that are able to give you those skills, you don't know. I mean, it is, of course, loving your baby is the most important, but it is important the way that you interact and teach them. And like you said, the parents are the first teachers. Incredible. So even if that was your only job, huge job, an incredible impact that you have, but that's just like one teeny fraction.
Yes.
So then the next part of Head Start must start at 3.
So it's the classroom based, and
Okay.
that's, I think, what people are most familiar
Yes.
with. So it's, you know, preparing for kindergarten and getting children used to that classroom setting
Yes.
and being around all the other children and learning how to, you know, sit on their carpet square and listen to a story, or do family style lunch, which is something that I didn't know about until I started with CAPLP, but they actually have the children serve themselves, which for me right away was really anxiety inducing.
I agree.
But because of the skills they can learn and just the way that it works, they can find their portions and they have that control, and then they're learning how to pour their drinks, and just really important skills that maybe, you know, parents aren't doing at home right away, but then
Right.
when they get into school, they're more prepared for some of those things.
Definitely. You don't want them to go to kindergarten, you know, and not know how to open that milk, or just those little things, but those things, you know, kind of tick away at your self-confidence if you don't have those basic skills. And so, again, absolutely incredible. But I have the same experience. The first time I was visiting Head Start and they sat down and the kids are pouring, I was like, oh. Because even with my kids, I'm sure I poured their drinks way longer than I should have, you know, because you don't want to mess. But it's important for them to learn those skills.
Exactly.
Yes. So that's a big chunk of what you do, Head
Yes.
Start. Okay, just take it away.
So we also have what we, you know, our housing, which is pretty, I would say, cut and dry with, I mean, we have a whole bunch of different programs that are involved in housing. To be honest with you, there are so many and they're so detailed that I could not list them all.
Wow.
But the basics of what we do, so we want to do homeless prevention.
Okay.
So making sure that people are able to stay in their places, their residences. So
Wonderful.
if someone's facing eviction, things like that, we can step in and help. Some of it's landlord mediation, some
Okay.
of it's, you know, helping with a little bit of rent or a deposit, those types of things.
And I don't know that people know that that exists always, you know? So, I mean, if you're in that situation, what a desperate situation that you're in, and you've got children, even if you don't have children, that's an incredibly terrifying experience. you can reach out. So I'm going to stop you just to
Yes.
say, how do people reach out? If somebody's
Yes.
like, I'm in that situation. How do I connect with you?
So we do have our website, which is caplp.org.
Okay.
But also, I think calling is probably the easiest.
Okay.
218-512-1500.
Okay.
Or we also do have walk-in services.
Wow.
So if you've heard of the Family Service Center over in
Yes.
Moorhead,
Yes.
we have an office there. It's Office 101. So you can walk in there and receive services as well. And they're really good about doing kind of an intake and listening to your situation, and then they'll connect you kind of to the appropriate programs and get you connected into the services.
That is great. I think that is so important to get that word out, that not only is there help for you, but your friends, anyone that you might know in your circles, and to just get this word out. So the housing, incredible.
And there is another important thing that it's newer. So 211 is actually now doing intakes for housing. So that's
Really?
actually the easiest thing to do if you're really like facing a crisis, or
Yeah.
someone who is. If you call 211, they can do the intake over the phone, and then they can get you into the system. And the really cool thing about our community is all the housing programs work together.
Oh, wow.
And so once you get that intake done, when there's an opening, you can go to the housing program that's available.
Oh my gosh. So literally just 211, you are connected
Correct.
to help. Wow.
And so with housing, we also do more of like a long-term supports for housing, and then homeless outreach, which was something that I had my eyes open to as well. So that's literally meeting people where they're at. So sometimes those folks are in the homeless shelter, sometimes they're outdoors,
Just outdoors.
finding people. They also do meet at the Moorhead Library, I believe, on Tuesdays. So they'll
Okay.
go out there and just do outreach there.
Wow.
So really just being out in the community and meeting people where they're at and connecting them with services. They also sometimes hand out, like in the winter, warm hats and gloves and things like
Neat.
that too.
So do you need donations for that?
So
ever?
we do, but we obviously collecting them right now. We don't have a ton of storage is kind of the problem.
Right. So pause on
Yes.
that one. But
So we do have an Amazon wish list that we'll post occasionally on Facebook.
okay. That's
so when
probably
we
the
do,
best.
when we do have needs, we do put it out there for the community, and usually by social media is the easiest way for us to ask for
Because
that.
people ask all the time, like, I saw them, I want to help. And so that's how you can help, is watch
Yes.
for that wish list. But so you are boots on the ground. Let's go out, meet people where they're at, and tell them about the services.
Correct. And then connect them to the services too, which I think one of the things that I really respect about the people that I work with, and just I think the overall feel of our agency, is a lot of times if someone walks into whatever agency in the area and they don't know where to send someone,
Yeah.
they send them to us and then we figure it out.
That's
we,
great.
Yeah, we don't turn people away. So even if we don't offer whatever service someone needs, we will make sure that they are connected with a warm connection to where they need to go. That's what I love.
I love that. So yeah, we need to get the word out there. Like you said, you've been around for over 50 years, and what a neat beginning story you have. But Cap LP, like
Yes.
just plastered everywhere. That is where you can get help, and if they can't help you, they'll find help for you.
Correct.
Oh, I love that. And you have more.
Yes. So then we also have an economic empowerment.
Okay.
And that is a very large division, mostly because there's a lot of programs that maybe just, we're trying out or a little
Yeah.
newer, that kind of thing. So economic empowerment overall is obviously helping people get on their feet.
Nice.
So we do home buyer education, and that's open to the entire community.
Which is huge,
Yes.
especially as a young adult, but really any time in your life. The thought of buying a home is such a ginormous task, So how cool. So they've got that too. You just
Yes.
have everything. We just all need to go to Cap LP right now.
Yes, and then we also do economic empowerment has what we call financial freedom classes.
Okay.
So it's helping people figure out how to fix their credit. And sometimes that's a precursor to the homebuyer education to say,
Makes
I
sense.
need to get my finances in order, I need to get out of debt. Or sometimes it's just people saying like, I need to understand this better, and what does credit look like, and why is that important, and some
Right.
of those education pieces. But we also do like one-on-one counseling too when it comes to homebuyer
Wow.
education. And our goal, I think the most beneficial thing about the homebuyer ed portion is that we're unbiased, and we're not going to tell you like you need to go and get a loan from this person, or you need to
Right.
work with this realtor. We do have experts that come in and speak, but it's all no pressure, and we're not trying to push you into anything. It's more the education, and we want to make sure that purchasing a home is the right decision for you and your family, because it's not right for everyone, and some
No.
people are just not ready for it.
Yep.
So we want to help prepare you to be ready for it, but also learn really kind of the nuts and bolts of everything that goes into that.
That's because it is complicated and
Yes.
it's overwhelming. And sometimes I think you dive in when you maybe don't really know exactly what you're doing and you sign all those documents.
Yep.
So how incredible. I think there's even more.
So under economic empowerment, we do senior services as well.
Okay,
so some
really?
of that's helping with Medicare benefits and making sure you're understanding what you're signing
Again,
up for.
so complicated.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so a lot of actually what we do, I would say in all of our programs,
Mm-hmm.
is helping people with some of those really complicated applications. We help with applying for SNAP.
Oh, great.
Yeah, Supplemental
Yes.
Nutrition Assistance
Yes.
Program. We also, for our seniors program, every month deliver food boxes to Clay
Wow.
County. So that's called the Nutrition Assistance Program for Seniors. A lot of acronyms you'll notice.
Yes, yes.
So we call that NAPS.
Naps. I like it.
Yes. And so every month we have volunteers that actually go out into all Clay County. So we go to like Barnesville and Holly and different communities
Nice.
and deliver food boxes to seniors that are in need.
That's great.
Yeah, so making sure they have nutritious food and they're not worried about those types of things. And then we also have a really exciting, it's not new, but it's newer.
Okay.
We have a rural routes program.
Okay, what is this?
So this is affordable transportation. So we always hear like, oh, if you need help getting to a medical appointment, we can help with that. And I
Yeah.
think that's fairly common.
Yep.
But what this amazing service does, it's a sliding wow, I can't ever say this. A sliding fee scale.
Yes,
That's a
it's a
tongue twister
mouthful.
for me.
Yeah.
So it's a sliding fee scale, and you can call and set up a ride. So
Okay.
on certain days of the week, she goes out to certain communities. So she'll go to Holly, and she'll just, if someone needs a ride from Holly, they'll say,
Wow.
I want to go to Walmart. And so she'll go pick them up, and they'll go into Moorhead and,
What
get
a
your shopping
huge
done.
service.
Yes. And so she's also started going to Detroit Lakes. So like we've had
Okay.
riders that, sometimes it's just nice to get out of the house.
Oh,
and,
for sure.
And I think we have a lot of seniors in some of those rural communities where their family maybe lives in the Fargo-Moorhead area and
Mm-hmm.
they're driving out to, Ullin, picking
Right.
up their mother and then driving her to Walmart and then having to drive her back. So this
Right.
is kind of, we pick the seniors up at the door.
Wow.
We can help them onto the bus. It's wheelchair accessible, so we can work with that as well. And then we can take them to destinations that, maybe, yes, we will do medical appointments and things
Right,
like that,
which
but
is-
maybe
that
some more
alone is
fun stuff
amazing.
too.
Nice.
So we've done I think a long time ago, we've done like thrift store shopping or,
cool.
those types of things.
Yeah.
If you want to go to Target, if you want to go to Walmart and get kind of those shopping or those basic necessities, we can do that too.
You feel so isolated, I think people do, and especially seniors. And not everybody has family around or family that's available to give those rides. So that I really don't think people know a lot about. Like you said, I think it's starting to be known that you can get some help getting to medical visits, but even that, but to get to go to Walmart and like even do some fun shopping, or get your necessities.
Exactly.
Yeah. So in my previous life, I worked in long-term care, and so many seniors would come to us really in a state of malnutrition, and because just I didn't know I could get a ride to Walmart to get more groceries or whatever. So again, CAP LP, tell everybody that you know. It really sounds like there's something literally every single person could get out of this, not just people in poverty.
Yes, and that I think is the beauty also of CAP LP, which is something else that attracted me and I got really excited about when I started in my role, is we really do serve, from pregnant moms with our early head start all the way to end of life. And so there's, services and programs for pretty much every age group and every stage of life that you're in, which is really exciting.
It is.
I know I'm going to miss things from our economic empowerment.
That's right. We will have you back and we can talk about each particular one. This is the beginning overview. And then I would love to have you back to talk about specifically
Perfect,
because
yes.
there's a lot of information here.
Yes. And so we also do like a whole family program, and that is kind of just starting out and we're just building that.
Nice.
And then under economic empowerment, I know I'm going to miss some, so I
That's all
apologize
right.
in
We'll
advance.
come back.
So then our fourth and our, I would say, fastest growing
Okay.
division is our Childcare Connections, and that's also our newest division.
All right.
And so we all know that there's a childcare crisis
Yes.
right now, and that the need is very large. And so the beautiful thing about community action is we step up and we try to meet those needs, and we're, you know, if we
Incredible.
can be flexible with our programs, and we really want to meet the needs of our specific community that we're serving.
Nice.
And that's really the motto of all community actions nationwide is we do every 3 years a needs assessment of our community specifically,
Yes.
and childcare has come up. So
I love this because the needs are different in different communities. I mean, humans have, you know, some basic similar needs, but I love that you don't go in and say, okay, I know what you guys need. You need this and this and this. Instead, you go, what do you need? What can we help with? Complete change around.
yes.
Yeah.
So Childcare Connections is the part of our agency that actually serves all of North Dakota right now.
Okay.
And so we do Bright and Early, which is the North Dakota quality. It's like like ensuring that the care is quality for childcare.
That's-
And yes, so
Yeah.
that's a big deal too.
Very.
And then they also, like a lot of our programs can help with people that want to get into childcare, and we can help
Oh.
them set up and kind of get going with that.
That's incredible too.
Yes, we
Yeah.
can help parents afford childcare. So we do early learning scholarships, and that's on the Minnesota side more.
Nice. Sure.
And we
Hey, you've
do-
got the 2 states to deal with.
Correct. And that's, I think, sometimes confusing. But the really cool thing about our website
Yeah,
is
let's go to your
when you
website.
click into it, if you go to what we do.
I will let you
Perfect.
drive. All right.
So what we do, we'll give you the basics of here are the different areas that we serve. So, you know, if you're looking for services for children and families, the economic empowerment that I talked about, health and wellness, housing, and then childcare connections. But the easy part about navigating this is we have our brief overview, and then you can say, oh, I'm in North Dakota or I'm in Minnesota.
Perfect. So you don't have to deal with both and
Exactly.
figure it out. It's just right there.
Correct. And so you can click into Minnesota, and then, oh, I'm a family, so like I'm a parent looking for care
Yeah.
or whatever that is, or I'm an educator. And then you can click into that, and then here are all the different programs and services that we do. So we
Amazing.
have-
So I just quickly saw
Yes.
startup grants go by. So if
Yes.
you're thinking maybe this is a way that I can make an income, maybe I'd like to stay home with my own children too. It looks like you've got some help
Yes, we
here.
can help with some of those things.
Wow.
And then this is one I'm really excited about. So the New American Child Care Project is helping getting some of those. We have a lot of families that, like you said, are caring for their own kids, or
Yes.
maybe they have friends and family that are coming through. So this will kind of combine both of these two. But
Great.
New American Child Care is helping people get licensed or get legally non-licensed, and kind of giving them those supports when they're a new American, so we can
Nice.
have some of that culturally relevant, I think, care is really
Yes.
important. But then also, I mean, getting licensed for childcare is a long, difficult process. So helping, I think, figure out what that looks like and how to do it, and the paperwork and some of those
All
things
of
is
that.
helpful too. So someone just to help you walk you through that.
Yes.
And then this is a newer one too, the Family Friend and Neighbor. So they call it FFN, another
Cool.
acronym.
Yep.
And that is working to help, because I think a lot of times if your mom is caring for your children, or your aunt or your neighbor, the family friend and neighbor
Right.
thing.
Okay.
You don't always think of yourself as a childcare professional.
True.
You think, I'm doing a favor for my sister.
Yes, I'm just helping them out.
Exactly. But you are a child care provider.
are.
And so what this program can do is it can help with some training. So maybe it's some basic safety or some CPR, or coming into your home and making sure it's set up for you to make sure you have some of those things. And it also can provide some resources for our family, friends, and neighbors that are caring for kids.
That's incredible, because I
Yes.
think there are a lot of people doing that, and like I'm just kind of doing it as a favor. I'm just going to be back here.
course.
I think that a lot of people are, like especially grandmas, and you kind of have your house set up, and you don't, I think you're having them over kind of for a little
Yes.
bit. But what a great resource. You hear people say all the time, oh, they should do this and they should do that. They are doing it. They are. Well, you just need to connect, So I don't know that people are aware of that either. That your mom, you're an aunt, your friend helping out. I have resources here to help me care for this child better, which is going to help you, support you as well. So I'll go back to the website so you can show
Perfect.
whatever.
I think the last little piece on the bottom here is just talking about the professional development. I always love, so our child care providers call themselves child care, but
Okay.
really they are early childhood educators.
Yes.
And we should be treating them as such.
Yes.
And they are running a business.
Yes,
And they
all
are
of
very
those things.
important professionals because we can't go to work if they don't work.
It is so true.
Yes.
But seriously, the whole system collapses
Yes.
if we can't have our children taken care of.
So what our professional development and training does is it does exactly what it says. It trains providers, and so it can help make sure you have, you know, all the trainings you need for licensing. It can help getting some of those, you know, different trainings. We bring them into the community. We can do them in person, that kind of stuff too.
So there's options there too. It sounds like
Yes.
you really try to make sure that people not only have these resources, but that they have access to them. And so if you're like, well, I work at this time, I can't go to the class, great, we'll come to you. Yeah, they are doing a lot. a lot. Like pretty
Yes.
much anything you could think of, it is being done already. Is there anything else you want to show on the website? I can go back here.
I think we maybe we'll go to the economic
Okay,
empowerment
oops, so
just
sorry.
because I
Yes.
feel like I missed.
Yes, something is you're wanting to say something about that we have
We did the
not
financial
got
freedom.
to. Okay.
Oh, Career Connect.
There we
How
go.
did I forget this?
Well, because you do a million things. That's why.
So Career Connect is a really exciting program. So it's a partnership with M State over in Moorhead
Awesome.
and United Way of Cass Clay. So huge,
Awesome.
you know, community partners.
Yes.
And what we're doing is we're linking low-income families to career training.
Okay.
And so a lot of times that, you know, we just actually wrapped up a certified nursing assistant program training. So we did a
Awesome.
CNA class.
Oh, that is great.
Yes. And so the classes are free of charge to those that are taking them.
Really?
Yes. And
Because
so
that's always a hindrance too. It's like,
Exactly.
I want to get my CNA license, well, but it costs this much, and
Yes.
some pay and some don't. So it's free.
Yes. And so we can help get, you know, your CNA license and get trained.
Wow.
We also have done welding, we've done automotive, we have done manufacturing. So we kind of have, what we do look at is what our community needs for some of that skilled labor. And then the most important aspect of this is we want to make sure the folks that are graduating from whatever program that they're entering is
Yes.
that they're going to find a livable wage job.
Wow.
Because the last thing we want is them to go through all this work and training and then not be able to pay their bills.
Right.
So we do,
Which happens
Yes.
to lots of people.
Yes, and so we work really hard, and we have career coaches that work step by step, and they'll help overcome barriers. So if you don't know what to do for childcare while you're going to this class, they can help with those things. If you don't have transportation, they can help with that. And so they kind of work to eliminate all those barriers that you have that you feel like, oh, it's overwhelming.
Right. It's overwhelming. I can't do it. Yeah.
And so they help with that, and then after you graduate, they'll help you find a job. So sometimes honestly people just need a cheerleader in their corner to
Yes.
say, you can do this.
You can do it.
Yes.
Yep.
And so it's helping them get hired, and then also helping them stay in their position and making sure that they're
Wow.
you know,
so you even
continuing on
continue
the
with
job.
them
Yes.
after it's not like, okay, job, see you later,
Yes.
which would be amazing. But you stay afterwards to say,
Correct.
okay, so you're having trouble. What are you having trouble with? You know, I'm having trouble with this. Whatever I need help with, you guys are there to help.
And yeah, sometimes it's even mediation with there's a misunderstanding culturally between the company and the person,
Yes.
or there's just a misunderstanding. And so sometimes it's just mediating and having that open conversation. Obviously, it's always with the permission of the person we're serving
Right.
and making sure they're okay with that, because we're
Yes.
not going to just go to an employer. But
Right.
it's one of
Which
those
is,
things.
yeah, that's
Yes.
wonderful.
But I think having that extra support when you're entering the workforce or re-entering the workforce is so key. And
is.
it helps not only, you know, the people we're serving be successful, but I think it's helping the businesses because
Definitely.
people are hiring.
Everyone is hiring. That was all going through my head when
Yes.
you were talking about it. I thought, wow, all these different big manufacturers that we have around here are hiring and offering different incentives, and it seems like they just still can't get people. But what a great connect with you guys who are helping the person to get to that position and then supporting them in that position. And like you
Yes.
said, a huge part of it is being a cheerleader. But you hear and you think of all the time, the transportation, the childcare, those are probably two of the hugest ones.
Yes.
But even that, interview coaching, and not everybody's had those experiences or has someone in their life that can say, okay, this is how you interview. And
Exactly.
I would be lost without the people in my life that have taught me how to do those things. So,
Exactly.
amazing.
Perfect.
Thank you so much for
Yes,
being here,
thank
Amanda. It was
you.
such a joy meeting you the other day. I'm so glad you came on, and I'm going to snag her on all the time because you've got so much to talk about, and I think we really just need to get that word out as much as possible
Yes.
so that people know those services are there. Because like I said, you hear all the time, don't you? Like, shouldn't they do something? They should be doing something about that. Yeah, you are. You're doing like all the things.
Thank you.
So it's caplp.org is the website, and the number to call, is this the number right here?
Yes.
All right, 218-512-1500, and I'll put that information up too and under the link on our interview. And you can catch us on our YouTube channel, just search Valley News Live or valleynewslive.com, and also our app, VNL News. Thank you so much, Amanda.
Thank you.